Here we go again. This was kind of written in the wall according to some people, but in this video I want to share with you why the market crash today is actually an overreaction and what the media will not tell you about what is actually and really going on behind the scenes. All right, because when you look at the price action today, I mean, all across the board, even yesterday, I was, going to Thanksgiving dinner at some friend's place, and I looked at my, the state of the market. I mean, just to check it quickly, and we were already down 400 points by before 6 p.m. yesterday. And keep in mind, this is a close day. This is an off day for the markets, at least for the US. And today the market lost, Dow Jones, 1,000 points. You can look 1,000 points at some point. S&P 500, 2.5%, and futures are still declining as of now. So it's really an ugly situation, but the whole narrative around this, all right, it's a new COVID variant discovered in South Africa. This is the headlines that most of the media outlet today pushed. South Africa accuses UK and others of a knee-jerk reaction to new variant. And this is actually what is going on behind the scenes. We're going to focus here for a second before we move on. What is the main reason, the real reason behind it? So this is what all the media are telling us, all right? That there is a new variant out there discovered in South Africa, and people are panicking. People are panicking, and when people panic, they tend to sell off. And when they sell off, it creates a domino effect, causing a situation as exactly what we do have today, all right? You can see here that Dow Jones, everything just plummeted in a matter of a second without giving, a potential alert, right? This is, I don't want to call it a black swan event, but it's not far. But this is actually very funny because when you look at what South Africa is telling, they are calling this a knee-jerk overreaction by the other countries, because as soon as this got out, all right, the UK, Germany, and lately the US started putting restrictions on travel, all right, from South Africa and from 7 other countries when it comes to the US specifically. But the thing is, South Africa did what they were supposed to do by contacting the WHO and telling them, hey, this is what we found so far when it comes to this B11529 variant, all right? So they detected that earlier this week, and that's what, they needed to do, and I think they did the right thing. But the problem is, as soon as this, people started to panic, especially the UK, all right? And this reaction on countries to impose travel bans, it's completely against norms and standards as guided by the WHO. This is what the Prime Minister, the Health Minister of South Africa is telling. Hence, quoting, the same country that are enacting this kind of knee-jerk draconian reaction are battling their own waves, which I tend to believe with what he's saying, right? But more importantly, this, when you actually get why this is causing so much heat, it's because from Dr. Angelique Coetzee, the chair of the South African Medical Association and a practicing GP based in Pretoria, said this is a premature and speculation at this stage. It may be that this whole new variant is highly transmissible, but so far the cases that they are seeing are extremely mild. Maybe 2 weeks from now, I'll have a different opinion, but this is what we are seeing, she said. So are we seriously worried? No. Are we seriously worried? No. We are concerned and we watch what's happening, but for now we're saying, okay, there is a whole hype out there, but not sure why. And this is exactly what is the problem and the issue here, because when you look at how the market reacted back in 2020 with this whole COVID thing started, it would have been justified if the market reacted today based on these news. But we already have Delta variant so far. We already have many other variants. And keep in mind, this is just the normal evolution of any type of variant. So I think people tend to forget that the flu, it's also a variant, all right? And the flu, same thing as the COVID-19, they mutate, they change. That's how they are trying to stay alive. But that's also why we have pills. That's also why we have, treatment, cure, and more importantly, the vaccines and the boosters, all right? So with all the plethora of technology that we have in healthcare so far today, when it comes to fighting COVID, this reaction might be overblown. Now, when it comes to when you try to read in between the lines, trying to read also about, what is actually the reason behind it or what is the agenda behind it, keep in mind, a couple of days ago, President Biden released, the SPR when it came to fighting, oil prices going up. Now, what you may probably don't know is oil prices and rent prices. Those two, among all others, but those two are mainly the main drivers of inflation going higher, right? So it's a problem if the market sees inflation as one of the main risks coming into 2022, right? Jerome Powell just got reinstated at the chair of the Fed, and he already told the market that, hey, if we see things continue to improve on the job market side of things, we may start reducing the money that we are putting into the market, the stimulus money that we're putting into the market starting January. But again, there is a condition there. So President Biden doesn't have much wiggle room when it comes to, hey, what can we do to make sure we reduce this inflation thing? But when he did the SPR thing, he thought that it was going to reduce the price of oil, all right, push them down a little bit, but it caused the opposite direction. So it backfired pretty much because oil prices rebounded from that to come to 80 again. Now, if they don't have much tools on hand to make sure oil prices are kept down or keep going back down, even when, they did this whole SPR thing, which by the way, it's very, very, unusual. Well, how best, to actually go at the source and create another fear mongering around, lockdowns? Because that's what I saw this morning on pretty much every single media outlet on finance. Markets spooked by new variant detected and lockdowns fear again. So by doing so, they're making sure that they're pushing the price down. But hey, what about throwing the whole bathwater and we don't care if the baby is still inside? That's precisely what I believe it's what is happening here, because midterms 2022 are coming up, right? So because they are coming up, the current administration, they are really losing a lot of points from the American consumer, the American citizen. They don't see much that this administration is currently doing. These are the facts saying, not me. This is not my opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was a coordinated attack, because why decide to spread this news on a low volume day like this? Half of the traders are off, all right? This is a half trading day in the US and it's a half trading day in Europe. So you don't have a lot more volume going in on these specific days because everybody is at home trying to spend some time with family and loved ones. So this is a very best use case scenario to cause such, selling pressure, right? So based on this, that's what I think. It's not going to last long because fundamentally, the economy is still strong, especially when you look at the numbers that are coming out of these Black Friday sales. And when you look at the retailers, earnings, companies like Target, companies like Walmart, companies like Dick's Sporting Goods, they are doing pretty well. All right. So inflation or not, people are still consuming. People are still buying stuff. And that's why it's causing one of those supply chain issues. So coming 2022, I still believe the problem with inflation, it's not really something that will deflate or derail the entire economic growth, because people are still buying stuff, people are still consuming, and consumption in the US is 2/3 of the US economy. So based on this, I will say that this, is just a matter of picking some of the right stocks that you may see, as a discount, as a Black Friday sale. I picked up some today, but again, we might see a pretty good rebound starting next week, but with the stock market, you just never know. So as always, hope for the best, but also be prepared for the worst. We might have another video coming up tomorrow talking about what are the best deals on the market now, which you can benefit as you ride the wave back up. So see you in the video.